I want to bring in dear brother Philip Farah of the Palestinian Christian Alliance for Peace to share about an upcoming campaign, a campaign that Palestinian Christian Alliance for Peace is embarking upon. And so we'll have Philip join on screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. Baruch Hashem, Tuda Rabah, my friend from JVP, is it? I'm sorry if I didn't catch the affiliation. Beautiful words. My name is Philip Farah. I'm a co-founder with Reverend Alex, who I think you've probably heard from already, of the Palestinian Christian Alliance for Peace. I too was in prison, like the prophet who was mentioned just now, an Israeli prison, actually under administrative detention for really where you don't know what the crime charge against you is, but the real crime was that I was working with Israeli Jews who were against the occupation at the time back in 1976. Anyway, the campaign that we have just launched is called Take a Stand for the Holy Land. Please go to our website, Palestinian Christian Alliance for Peace, and click on Take a Stand campaign. This campaign is intended really to get into the pews, to reach Christians in the pews. We have had many successes in convincing Christian denominations, to divest from companies that profit from the occupation. We have had many successes with resolutions calling Israel an apartheid state and Zionism, Christian Zionism, a sin. But the message has really not reached deep into the pews, and this campaign is meant to do that, to appeal to Christians who have not really heard very much about the plight of the Palestinians, by introducing them to Palestinian Christians and their plight, how threatened the very existence of the original Christians is in the Holy Land. My family are from Gaza, and many of them have been killed or died of lack of medicine or food in the churches where they are sheltering. Now they're just, if less than 1,000 people left who are Christians in Gaza. There used to be 8% of the population before 1948, but massacre after massacre in Gaza made many of them flee, and the very presence of Palestinian Christians really is threatened, not only in Gaza, but in all the West Bank and all the territories that are occupied by Israel, because of the harshness that the occupation imposes on them, attacks that actually target churches and target Christians. Because if the land is free of Christians, then Israel can play along with its Islamophobic message of, these are terrorists and we can deal with them harshly. So please go to our webpage, Palestinian Christian Alliance for Peace, and click on Take a Stand campaign. And thank you, everybody, for allowing me to talk about this campaign. And I apologize for coming on late.
No apologies needed. Philip is with his family at a baby shower, which I think is just so beautiful. Just the thought of the promise of life, and so thank you for joining us for the time that you can, and sending love to your family. And we put the link for the campaign Take a Stand in the Holy Land with Palestinian Christian Alliance for Peace in the chat. We're going to get to our call to action for the evening. I would like to invite Paula Roderick, organizer with Christians for Ceasefire to talk about their vigil coming up December 5th.
Thank you. You know, years ago, when I took my first trip to Palestine, I had the honor and the delight to have time to meet with Reverend Alex Awad. And that was back in 2008. And at that time, I was stunned by the discrimination and the pain and the horrors of occupation. And so, so I think I asked Reverend Awad back then, and I know I asked him several times since then, how do you hold on to faith? And I think he said it today, because we believe, we act, right? So this is the call to action. National Christmas tree lighting is December 5th. Join Christians for Ceasefire and the number of our allies. We're going to be out there helping light up the Christmas tree and helping to educate people that go by. We're going to be doing some singing, some alternative caroling, because we've all heard the old little town of Bethlehem that sounds so sweet and kind. But we forget to tell people that today in Bethlehem, the streets are empty, except for soldiers. We forget to tell them that part. So we're going to have a chance to do that on December 5th for the Christmas tree lighting. And we're going to post, I think, the information about how you get there when we're going to meet. Before that, Monday, if you're interested, Reverend Jen Hosler from the Washington Church of the Brethren is inviting us to do an art build, because we will also have a Christ in the Rubble creche. We're going to build it, and we're going to have it out there for that national Christmas tree lighting. So you're welcome to come join us for the artwork. Come join us for the action. Be the Christians that we know we are called to be, right? In action. And I think we're going to put some other actions in the chat, but just to call to mind, we want to remind people, we've heard about the call to preach Palestine from Fosna and take a stand for the Holy Land. I think we're going to put some links in there, because we have some prayers that you can offer. I know from having gone to a lot of churches, our pastors are doing a lot of things over Advent season, but they're not talking about Palestine and what's happening there now. So this is some ways that you can ask them nicely, introduce some prayers, but we can really be meeting to talk about what's going on. And yes, it's in DC, Washington, DC, but it's a model. So if you've got a Christmas tree going up in your community and you want to have some ideas, you can follow us about how to get an action going. Do an art build, get out there, some alternative Christmas carols, and pass out information about what's really going on in Palestine. What is it like under occupation? What's it like for a child in Gaza? I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Paula, for sharing that about the vigil, December 5th. We also heard again about the Take a Stand for the Holy Land campaign. I want to share a few others. Oh, and I think Paula also mentioned the Christ and the Rubble prayer kit that folks can use to support different actions. Also sharing, and blame my head and not my heart, I don't know how to pronounce this all correctly, but the Mask Off Mayor's campaign with Christians for a Free Palestine, a campaign that they're gearing up for. And if you sign up, you'll be able to get updates about where that campaign goes and trying to halt the shipping of weapons to Israel. Also, of course, as Kristen Colangelo last week shared from the National Union of the Homeless, they are having their Winter Offensive Human Rights Day hearing December 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can sign up for that with the Zoom link that we're putting in the chat. The National Homeless Law Center's resources for the season. As you know, Eric talked about in our first service a couple weeks ago, there's increasing criminalization of unhoused people, and they have resources for ways to get involved with the Housing Not Handcuffs campaign and to take action near you. And FOSNA, Friends of Sabeel North America, also has a Preach Palestine campaign. I don't know if you wanted to share a little bit about that, Brother Chad.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, my sister. It's actually kind of building off of what Sister Paula shared. Christians for Ceasefire are doing, but December 10th, like what they're doing on December 5th, December 10th is International Human Rights Day. So for the last several years, FOSNA is having people preach Palestine in the sanctuaries, in the pulpits, but we want to take that publicly, especially after it's been, as Munther Isaac has taught us, that Christ has been under the rubble for well over a year now. So on December 10th is the day we're encouraging our people and all of you to do, something publicly, whether it's Christ in the rubble display or songs like Sister Paula shared. But it's in the chat, and you can connect to the link, and there's resources and toolkits there to help us. So, yep, thank you so much.